you are watching Sculpt Beauty TV, and today's tutorial is inspired by the new movie Hunger Games. Now this is the talk of the town at the moment. Everyone's talking about Hunger Games, going to watch it, brilliant movie. This look is inspired by Girl on Fire. Now the thing is, this look isn't actually in the movie. It's just an inspired look from the character Girl on Fire from the magazine, the comic magazine, where the film was made from. And this is my take on it. This is my take on how the whole makeup should be like. Okay, now I've seen a few more tutorials out there on people's looks and they're fabulous, but I wanted mine to be a little bit more different. Okay, now I love creative makeup. My background is art, so whenever something like this comes along, I do like to jump on the bandwagon and show you my take on it. So this is my Girl on Fire makeup look. Anyways, enough chit chat. This is my look. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you do want to know how I've done it, please watch on. Okay, so as you can see, this is what we're going to create. I've done it on one side already and I've applied the rest of my makeup. Now, to do this look, make sure you apply a good foundation base, and you must apply it, you must apply it everywhere. And because we're not going to use any primer or anything like that, we're just going to apply a good base of foundation or concealer. Okay, so I have done that. And also you need to apply your the base of your blusher. Now what I've applied is something really natural. It's just my usual blusher that I used with a little bit of a pinky tone, and I've applied that as well. I haven't done my eyebrows or anything like that. Okay, so this is what we're going to create. Okay, now what we're going to use first are some paint pots. Okay, now I've got the Sculpt Smoke and Rouge paint pots by Sculpt Beauty over here. Now these are available from our website, and I've got an orange and a red. Okay, and this is what we're going to start off with. So we're going to start off with a orange. Now, if I could find the right brush. Now, you can actually dip your fingers in and go in there, but because I have a little bit of a nail, it's hard to get on there. So I'm just going to use a brush, and what we're going to do is just apply this on our eyelid. Now as you can see, I've taken it right to the top, and that's what I'm going to do. Now for this, you're going to need a wet wipe as well, so keep a wet wipe near you. And what I'm going to do with this colour, because the thing with paint pots is you don't need a lot of paint pot, okay? So a lot of paint, okay, because the colour is should be very pigmented. Whatever paint pot, a brand that you use, the colour should be very pigmented, and people use these the wrong way, because you've got to remember that they're paints, but they work like paints as well, okay? So they're not very sticky either. So what we're going to do is I'm just dabbing this into my eye and spreading it where I want it to be spread, and I am kind of going over my brow as well. I am not really watching that. So that's it. I've applied that. Now with my brush, I am going to go into my red, and we're going to get that onto our brush, and we're going to apply this. Now you can see that I'm dabbing this on as well. And start with a little first, because it's easier to work with a little bit first before you know, rather than the other way around. And dab this, and as you can see, I'm dabbing it into my orange. Now you don't want to overpower the orange, but you want to create a really nice gradient. And then you're going to work with the colour and take this out. I love working with paint pots, and the reason that I designed this look the way I have is so we can get a little bit creative, you know, and I don't get to use these pots a lot. So yeah, and as you can see, what I'm doing, I'm referring back to this always, so you guys can see what I'm trying to create. Okay, so just gradually. Now I only applied a little bit, and I'm working with that, and gradually taking this out. Yeah, you could go back in there and apply some more. And then you're basically slowly creating the shape that you want. And I'm going over my eye, the end of my brow as well. So I'm going to take this right to the edge. You can go a little bit further and just go all the way up, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so as you can see, that looks pretty good, even though I do say so myself. I'm going to go a little bit more harder with the red down here, cover the edge of my brow, and dab dab dab, like so. Now I've seen what else there is on the internet with regards to this look, and I just kind of, everyone's done something quite similar, and I just thought it's a great concept, and there's so much you can do with it. So sorry, if anyone knows me, they'll know that I like getting creative. So this was a good opportunity for me to really put my creative hat on. I've just gone back into the orange, just so the gradual colour is nice, and then I've just kind of gone in there with more of the orange. So you could play about with that as much as you like, but like I said, go gradual rather than the other way around, because you know it's better to be able to control your colour, and instead of applying some and thinking, oh crap, you know, I shouldn't have put that there. Okay, so we're going to go into the artist palette. Now, if you're a makeup artist, this is a really good palette to have, and I am going to be using this yellow right down here. Now, there's a few yellows in here, but this is just a really bright yellow matte. Yeah. So get a big highlighter type brush, soft one, and we're going to just dab this colour in to the centre. The inner corner of our eye. And as you can see, what I did is I dabbed it in to the inner corner first, and I've taken it all the way right up towards my nose, okay? And then gradually we're going to pat this colour in, yeah, into our orange. Again, do it gradual. You know, you want to have control. Don't get excited and apply it everywhere. And just a little bit there. Now, as we're into the yellow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some over here. See how it blends lovely into the paint. Now, these colours are high pigmented, and you know it's a good colour to work with. It shows up in any skin colour as well, and the Sculpt Beauty and the Smoke and Rouge palettes, the palettes that we sell, are certified as well. So you know they work on all different type of skin types, and you know you could be sensitive skin, and as long as you're not allergic to an ingredient, then you know they should be fine on you. Okay, so we vouch for that as well. We do get people who say, oh, you know, I've seen this palette here, and is it the same thing? Well, you know what, you should know what you're putting on your face. You know, so whenever you buy makeup, make sure you buy it from a reputable source, because once you get a reaction, it could go one or two ways. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend that. But anyways, I have done that. There you go. Isn't that pretty? Now, seeing that we're in our Smoke and Rouge palette, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into two oranges. I'm going to go into this two-toned orange here, because it's really bright and it's lovely. And I'm going to go in to this red over here. Now, all we're doing is, if you could imagine, when you apply your foundation, you set it with powder, right? That's exactly what we're doing with this eyeshadow. Now, even though the paint is high pigmented and is pretty good and whatnot, you know, you sometimes get creases in your eyes. Now, if I go like that, I'll show you that. Can you see that? If that happens to you, just set it. Yeah, because you've got to remember, you know, there's a lot of science behind this that, you know, people forget. It's cream, right? And our eyelids are kind of like, you know, not all of us have got these, you know, mono-style eyelids where you don't have a deep crease in it. So, you know, you need to be able to, you know, adjust to that. So I'm going to go into my red now. I'm using the same brush, guys. You know, keep it simple. And that's why I use the orange as well first. Now, with the red, you could see that it comes up a little bit darker, which is great because it kind of creates a little bit of definition. So, apply like that till I'm happy. I'm starting to like this side better than this side, but hey ho. Right, so we've got that there. Now what we're going to do is do the under eye. Now, I told you everyone to have a wet wipe. Here is my wet wipe. And take the paint off this brush. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our red, right? And I'm going to apply this underneath. Like so. Yep, you could apply a little bit of orange in the front there as well. So you've done that. Now we're going to blend this outwards. Okay, so firstly with the same brush after you've wiped it. Sometimes it helps when you look down. There you go. So you've got that there. Now we're going to do a hell of a lot of shading. Okay, so I'm going to get another brush. We're going to go back into our red to start off with and just set this powder like that. There you go. Right, now we are ready for some eyeliner. Now this look looks kind of complicated, but I've tried to make it as easy as possible for you because that's what we're here to do. These tutorials are for everyone and for me to show you how easy it is. Why am I speaking like this? I don't know. But anyway, Sculpt Beauty Jyline in Carbon Black. It's a gel eyeliner. You don't have to use a gel eyeliner if you don't feel confident with it, okay? You can use a pen eyeliner. There's so many pen eyeliners on the market, but use one with a good pigment. And you can also use the liquid ink liners. So I've got an angle brush here. I'm looking straight ahead. And I'm not going to talk. That's possible. Obviously not. And we're going to create a really thin line. And as you can see, I've brought my line in slightly. Don't go overboard. This is not Arabic makeup, but you know, it kind of has that influence. Okay, anyways. So follow your line, your natural line, and I am going to stop right there before I get right to the edge. Okay? So the idea is to keep the front of your line quite small. Well, thin. Okay, now we're going to create this line over here. So I'm doing this freehand. I don't recommend you sticking tape and all of that. Just, you try and use an angle brush or even like a long, thin, a fat, thin brush at the top, and you could just, you know, create a line like that. Okay, so, or just use a bit of tissue and follow that line. Okay, so we're going to create a line. Now I've done one eye, so I've got to make sure it's symmetrical. Okay, so there's my line. Okay, it's not great. There, and then we're going to join this up. Now if you've been following my tutorials since I've been doing them, then you should be an expert at this by now. If not, don't fear, because practice makes perfect. And I've had 14 years of practice, so, you know, don't dishearten yourself. And if you want to get better, we do courses as well. Okay, so we blend this eyeliner in, As you can see, I have already started doing that. Now we get a little bit of black, same from the artist palette, and what we're doing is we're just blending the middle to the outer, right up until the edge, into our red. Okay, now this is going to take a little longer than it usually would do when we blend colour together. The reason being is you've got to remember that we've used paints, which the consistency is very different to just eyeshadow. Okay, so just gradually blend that colour in, so it kind of creates a little bit of a like a sunset feel. Don't worry if you've lost any colour, because like I always teach you, you can always go back into the colour. Okay, and another thing I do teach you is when you're going back into the colour, don't blend so harsh. Dabbing is a good way of putting the colour back in there. So there you go. Now we're going to do the bottom eyeliner. Okay, so get your gel, or if at this point you don't have the Sculpt Beauty gel eyeliner, you could use kohl pencil. And what we're going to do is just go into our waterline, and then we're going to create this line underneath. Now if you don't feel confident, you can use the eyeliner pens, or you could use the ink pots as well, but I prefer using gel because it's so much easier to blend in. Okay, now we're going to start with the inner corner, and you're going to attach this onto, you're going to start your line from the eyeliner that you kind of brought in a little bit further. And you create this line like so. You create this line. So once you've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to create this line underneath. Okay, so very carefully draw the line underneath and just extend it a little bit further. Be faint when you start, because you don't want to make a mistake with liner, or you could use a kohl pencil or something like that to start off with if you don't want to, if you're not sure. Okay, so you've done that. Now we're going to go into our black again, and we're going to blend this eyeshadow into our red. Now, like again, if you use gel, you can really, you know, use the eyeshadow to blend in with the colour better than you could probably do with the pens, the ink pots and the pens. There's a lot of black ink liner pens out there. I'm not a big fan, purely because they're really hard to wash off. Okay, I know that the Sculpt Beauty eyeliner is hard to wash off, but you can eventually get it off. With the ink pens, I find that they really stain your skin. So and I don't really like that, because I don't wear liquid liner on a daily basis. So sometimes you want to go for the natural look and you can't because you've been stained. Right, so as you can see, I'm doing that. Now I want this to blend in nicely with the red, so I am just controlling that a little there. Now what I'm going to go into is this purple colour. Right, this purple colour right here. Okay, it's a matte purple, and I just want to introduce that slightly in. And now, even though it doesn't come up as a purple blended in with all the colours, it just creates a nice shade once it's mixed in with like the red. Again, control, like so. If you lose any colour, like I feel as if I've lost that. Whilst we're there with the purple, I'm going to add that on the sides here, just to kind of contour that area. So as you can see, we're practically done. Okay, the one more thing I'm going to do with my liner, sorry, my brush fell on the floor, probably used to that for me. I am going to just define my line after my blending. Because I do like my liner looking quite prominent. Okay, so there you go. Now, with your eyeliner brush, don't put any more eyeliner on this because we're going to create the ripples, the fire ripples, okay? And you don't want it to be that dark, okay? So very lightly, I'm going to create these ripples, and I'm not going too hard, just like little lines like that. Now I'm going to go back into my red paint, get that on a brush, and we're going to kind of go over this and create the shadowing around these ripples, just to make them look a bit more, well, I was going to say faint, but they don't look faint. It just adds definition to them, and they just look nicer. So there. Now, I've finished there. Go back into your red eyeshadow, and where it is red, you want to apply this on top. Yeah, and blend this in so it's not as apparent, and it blends in, so it kind of creates a little bit of that smoky look. When I mean smoky, I don't mean the makeup smoky look, I mean like the smoky, like on fire type look. Okay, there you go. Okay, right, now we're nearly done, guys. As you can see, that's come along nicely. Now we're going to apply some glitter just to the center of the two lines and the inner corner. I'm using the Smoke and Rouge yellow glitter here. You could use glitter eyeliner, which is probably better because you'll have more control over where it goes. With this, you have to be really careful. Just get some glitter adhesive or some watered down eyelash glue. And you could apply that there. And on the inner corner, like so. We're going to get our glitter. Just on the inner corner. Try not to get carried away with this glitter and apply it everywhere, because glitter is quite overpowering, and you know, we're just adding a little bit of glamour to this look by adding the glitter on. It's not there to take over the whole look. Okay, now last but not least, and this is an option, you don't have to do this if you want to. Like I said, I've applied my usual blush onto my cheekbones. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create this kind of effect down here, like a contouring style effect. So get your red and create a line. Yeah, now this is great if you really want to you know, define your cheekbones, and just blend that in like so. Then go into your orange. I really like this orange because it's so bright, and apply that to there. Then we're going to get a blusher brush and just blend that all in together. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is go into a light gold. Just remove all these brushes. Now this palette has them all, so I'm going to use this gold right here, which is really like a pale gold. Now you can use these shadows anywhere on your face, okay? And I often use these colours as highlighters because they're just a lot more prominent. Just apply that right there. And that's it. That is our finished look. I've applied some eyelashes. I'm going to go and apply those. Come back. So that is my finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. I like doing creative makeup, and to be really honest, there is not a lot out there where you can actually, you know, get an idea from and, you know, make it your own. So when this came along and then a few people requested something around it, I thought, hey, that's cool. I looked on the internet first to see what's actually already out there, and I wanted to create something a little bit different because a lot of people's looks are quite similar. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and learned something new, because these tutorials are about learning new ways of applying makeup and using different methods as well. So I hope that my experience has been able to show you something a little bit different. If you like this tutorial and you want to see more like it, there's a like button underneath, just down here. You need to be watching this on YouTube. Click like, leave your feedback below. I do read the feedback whenever I get a chance to, and it's always great because it just gives me a chance on the Sculpt Beauty team to better these tutorials to, you know, the way you guys want them. We did have a lot of people say that, you know, we like them a little bit more bloggy and whatnot, so some tutorials we are doing a little bit like this, so it's a little bit more personal between you and I. Also, all the products that I have used are available on sculptbeauty.com/shop, okay, and we ship worldwide, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we ship straight to your door. I have listed everything that I've used in the description box below this video. Some people don't look there and they send messages in saying, where'd you get this from and where did you get that from? I have listed all the links in the shop below this tutorial, but again, you need to be watching this on YouTube. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a subscribe button. Click subscribe to the channel. You'll be the first people to know about all the tutorials and the videos that we are doing, and we do videos on everything. Also, if you have an iPhone app, get the Sculpt Beauty Revolutionary iPhone app. First one of its kind. You get tutorials straight to your phone, and you know, a notification will come up every time we upload a new video to the iPhone. It's absolutely free, available on Apple App Store. So that is that. What else have I forgot? Facebook, Twitter, we are on the social networks. Find us. Sculpt Beauty is what you'll be looking for. So join our network and interact with us. Also, you know, I'm on Twitter as well, and I do, you know, I do check the Sculpt Beauty Twitter too. So you know, if you can't get me on that, then you'll be able to get me on this, and you know, we do try and get back to everyone who does reply. So you know, don't think we're ignoring any of you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. That's it from me today. Keep your requests coming in. I do try and do as many as I can. I do have tutorials coming on hair, in terms of you know, how to grow your hair and stuff. I know I'd said that I'll do that. I will be doing that very soon. Also, a quick thing on my hair. All I have done is done a ponytail. I've got long curly hair, and I've kind of put what's called pinned it all down and created this little kind of bouffant type style, just to get everything out of my face and just to make this look a little bit more fiery, high fashion. But you can do whatever you want. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you again very soon. Keep it locked. Sculpt Beauty.